Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new stream on this beautiful, wonderful Tuesday evening. Today is already 21st of October, bro. Time is just flying by. Seriously. But yeah, as you can see in the thumbnail and the title, man, the president actually received an award today. And I think he deserved it, and he deserves to receive more and more awards because there hasn't been a president in history of the United States that has solved so many conflicts all around the world. So the Nixon award that our President Trump received today, I think he deserved it. He deserved to all he had also deserved to win the Nobel Prize. That should have been given to him as well. He deserved all the accolades that come with being a leader. That's dedicated himself to solving so many of the problems all around the world. Mr. Trump deserved to be rewarded every single day for all of the peace agreements from since he been in office that he done brokered between different countries all around the world. Mr. Trump brought so much peace to so many of God's kids throughout the world. To me, it's incredible, it's remarkable. And Mr. Donald J. Trump, our United States President, he deserved the award he won today, and he deserved to keep getting accolades because he deserved it. You know, there have not been a president in history of the United States that has solved so many conflict and so many violence all throughout the world. Mr. Trump is definitely God kid. He's definitely working for God, 100%. From since Mr. Trump been in office, so many of God kids has been given another day, has been given another chance to live a longer life. You have to reward someone like that. Our great United States President, Mr. Donald J. Trump, is actually using his influence all through the world to make a huge difference. He's using his influence, he's using what God gave him, his power of being the President of the United States, and he's using it in the best way possible by solving conflicts all throughout the world. And I'm pretty sure, ladies and gentlemen, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, eventually that conflict will come to an end as well. And it's going to come to an end with the help and influence of Mr. Donald J. Trump and his administration. I really truly believe that Ukraine and Russia situation is on its way to come into an end, with the help of God, of course. Hopefully, Mr. Putin of Russia, the president of Russia, and the president of Ukraine could actually come to a common ground and base their decisions on mutual respect. I'm pretty sure those two gentlemen don't like each other at all. But at the end of the day, if they could broker a deal with our United States President, Mr. Donald J. Trump, involved with the deal they broker, I think it could actually be something that's worth it going forward in the future. You know, I think if the president of Russia and the president of Ukraine could broker a deal with our great United States President, Mr. Donald J. Trump, and most importantly with God involved, and, you know, they base the deal on mutual respect for each other and mutual respect for the people of their countries, I think, honestly, it could be something that could, you know, it could bring peace back to Europe, and it could bring peace to, you know, it could bring peace throughout Europe once again. You know, for all the people in Europe, to all the people, you know, like right now, a lot of European countries, regardless if they're not involved directly with what's going on, they're some way, somehow indirectly involved in what's going on between Russia and Ukraine. They're somehow indirectly involved with what's going on. So hopefully with the settlement of that situation, with the help once again of Mr. Donald J. Trump, our great United States President, and God, hopefully peace could return to the entire continent of Europe. God willing, we'll see what happens. But I have this feeling that soon is the I have a feeling that this conflict is going to be resolved very soon. I really feel like that in my heart, and with the help of God, once again, hopefully it comes to an end. Guys, yeah, thank you for joining the stream, and you know who I am. My name is Lannie. We're going to get into a couple of videos today just praising the President of the United States. You know, let's get right into it, man. Let's go. Yep. You guys might be saying, why does he put workout for his intro? I love working out. That's my thing. I love working out. I work out majority of the time 7 days a week. Majority of the weeks. I love it. A lot of people make excuses to work out, but working out bring me a lot of enjoyment in my heart. Working out just makes me a happier person. It don't matter how tired. Like right before I came on stream, I did 2 hours of working out, lifting weights and doing cardio on the treadmill. So working out to me is like, it brings me a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of pleasure to exercise. So if you guys are out there curious why he has working out in his intro, that's just who I am, and I love it. I love having swollen guns, nice pecs, nice back, nice thighs. That's just me. I just love working out. It brings me a lot of joy to my heart. And you guys have to find things that actually bring joy to your heart other than money. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people just get up and pursue money, but your health should be your number one priority. And your health should be something you pursue more than anything else, because you could get up every single day and want to buy that house that you dream about, in a nice neighborhood with a white picket fence, and yes, God willing, you could accomplish that house, but you enter in that house and you have a bunch of health problems. Now you're not going to be able to enjoy that house that you've been working so hard for the past couple of years. And you're working hard for that house, but yet you're neglecting the most important thing, which is your health. So your health should be number one priority every single day. So do as much you can to live a healthy lifestyle. That's the reason. And I'm just mentioning this because this is the reason why my intro is working out. Just to show you guys you should get on the working out regimen as well. Yeah, but today's not about me. Today's talking about our great United States President, Mr. Donald J. Trump, and all his accomplishment throughout the world. Let's get right into the video with our first video of our president, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
And I think we'll end up settling the Russia situation. I don't think anybody in history settled that many, but perhaps they'll find a reason not to give it to me.
Have you stopped Russia?
He's right. There was no president in history of the United States, as I said from the beginning, that currently Mr. President Trump has resolved 7 to 8 conflicts throughout the world. And serious conflicts. The Pakistan and India conflict was a serious conflict because those 2 countries are both nuclear power. So that's big. That's a big deal. Also, the conflict that was going on in Africa, in the Congo. That situation been going on for years. And Mr. Trump actually brokered a deal with those countries that was involved in that African stuff. And now everybody's living in peace. So you have to give praises to people that deserve it. President Trump deserves all the praise, all the accolades he can get for the job that he's doing. The other day, the United States see one of the biggest protests about referring to Mr. Donald J. Trump as a king. Mr. Trump never considered himself to be a king. He's just a world leader. He's the president of the United States. What he's doing, I think, is tremendous. He's doing things that's tremendous for people all around the world. He's doing things that's tremendous in the United States. For a lot of people, is benefiting with Mr. Trump in the Oval Office. But people don't see that. People always look at the negatives. You know, people always seem to look at the negatives, and he did the greatest video. I didn't want to bring up the video. I was going to show the video, but I'm like, you know what? That video probably created too much controversy, but I was dying. I was dying of this AI-generated video of Mr. Trump in the airplane. To me, it was hilarious. You guys out there take things a little bit too serious, man. Every country right now is going through some form of immigration crackdown. Every country. And no matter who you are in this world, no matter what good you will be doing, no matter what good you're currently doing, you're always going to have people that are looking for the bad. That's just how life works. No matter how much of a good person you might be, no matter how much of a great job you're doing, you're always going to find someone that's out there that's willing to throw dirt on your name. It's the way life works, and you got to take the good with the bad. Especially as a president, I don't care what party is running the presidency in the United States. There are always going to be critics. There are always going to be people that's not going to. There are going to be people that's not going to be aligning with your policy. There are going to be people that's not going to be happy with certain decisions that are being made. It's just the way it is. Everybody's not going to be happy, but you have to take the good with the bad. And the video, the AI generated video with him and Mr. Trump in the plane, I think that was great. He's taking the good with the bad, and he's having a good time. He's not taking it personal. He's the president. He has a whole country to run. And on top of running the United States, he's helping out as much as he can all throughout the world. You can't knock a man for that, though. You can't. By what Mr. President Trump is doing internationally to help and solve those type of conflicts that hundreds of thousands, millions of people are dying daily in those conflicts around the world. So what he's taking the time out to do to help God kids to live another day, to help the kids of God to grow up and actually to have a good future. You got to praise someone like that. You got to praise someone like that, dude. You got to, you have to show respect when he's due. Mr. Donald J. Trump deserves to be respected for all of the things he is doing all around the world. He deserves it. You might be disagreeing with me, but I'm just another guy.
Sure,
simple and plain.
you should be able to get the Nobel. He said, I stopped 7 wars.
So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. Yeah, but I stopped 7 wars, and 3 of those wars were going on for more than 30 years.
Mr. President, you managed to get this deal done. A lot of people say that the men who managed to do that should get a Nobel Peace Prize.
And imagine that for over 30 plus years, people are fighting each other. People are in turmoil. People are losing their lives every single day. Imagine you could come and you could put a stop to type of situations like that. You deserve to be praised. You deserve to be praised. People is always going to look for the negative. As he said in the video that I just shown, people are looking for the negative with the Epstein stuff or with this stuff or with... Listen, stop living in the past. People have to move on. You living in the past and you're trying to go dig some dirt up from 20 years ago, 40, 30 years ago. You're trying to go back and dig some stuff up. Like, why are you living in the past? Why are you going back and digging up some stuff that happened 30 years ago? So what, the president was hanging out with this gentleman? He had a friendship with him. So what? What's the big deal? The president is not responsible for what nobody does. This man is a grown man. He had his own life. And I'm referring to Mr. Epstein. He had his own life. He was involved in his own business. He was doing his own thing. He just had a friendship with the president. They had properties in the same neighborhood, which is in Florida. They had properties in someplace in Florida. Mr. President Trump and Epstein actually had properties very close to each other. Beautiful houses. Mar-a-Lago and Epstein had his mansion like a couple of blocks down. Palm Spring, there you go. Palm Spring, Florida. And I'm talking about you have to cross that bridge though. Because Palm Spring, Florida, on one side of the bridge, you're in the ghetto. And then you cross the bridge to the other side. And you're seeing things that you will never ever dream about seeing. I'm talking about properties, vehicles, it's like a whole nother world when you cross over at that bridge. A whole nother world, dude. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, visit Palm Spring, Florida, and cross that bridge. You're gonna know the difference. Just when you go to Palm Spring, Florida, you're gonna see the difference. And when you cross that bridge, you're gonna see the separation, and the separation is the bridge. Literally. But yes, back to what I was saying, Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein actually had properties in that area. So they had a friendship, so I don't see the need that people is going back to try to dig up some dirt or some nonsense that happened 20, 30 years ago. Like, please, move on. Focus and concentrate on what's going on today. Focus and concentrate on all of the good things Mr. Donald J. Trump is doing and is going to continue doing over the next couple of years. Concentrate on things that's now. Concentrate on things that's about to come up in the future. People need to stop living in the past and going back and try to dig up some nonsense 10, 20, 30 years ago. Like, what good does that serve anybody? You're just trying to create turmoil. You're trying to create turmoil in the country. Just leave it alone. Focus on what's going on now. Focus on all the violence and all the people Mr. Donald J. Trump has actually saved. Focus on all the violence he had actually stopped all around the world. Just last week, he brokered the deal between Israel and Palestine for that whole Gaza situation. If it wasn't for Mr. President Trump, yes, there was other countries that was involved, but with Mr. President Trump pushing for peace and involving other countries, involving other governments to be a part of what's going on, he made it happen. His consistency and his pursuit to see peace all around the world, he actually made it happen. And hopefully that it sticks. Hopefully the agreement that they signed, hopefully the agreement that they came up with, hopefully everything works out. Because that's another part of the world that been going on, the violence been going on for years. Between Israel and Hamas and this violence been going on for years and years and years. So hopefully with the agreement that Mr. President Trump and his allies came up with to resolve that situation, hopefully that situation could stay the way it is and things could just get better. They could rebuild and people could live in peace, and the people of Palestine could live in peace, and everybody just have a good life. Just stay away from the violence, and that will be President Donald J. Trump being a big part of that agreement. So focus on what's now. Focus on the things that Mr. President Trump is actually accomplishing every single day. Focus on the good. Everybody just be dwelling on the bad. But once again, this is just how life works. Mr. President Trump cannot take it personal because that's just how life works. When people see that your life is going in the right direction, when people see that you're doing good things, the people that hate you, the people that want to see you fall, the people that want to see you suffer, because you're always going to bump into people like that, no matter who you are. I'm broke, and there is still people out there that want to see me suffer. There's still people out there that I was once really good friends with, and they turned around and backstabbed me to see me suffer. They teamed up with other people, and every single day they see me, every time they see my face, it drives them crazy. Like how this guy survived. Every time they see me, like they're bugged out. Like, how did this guy survive all of this evil things we send his direction? How did he survive? How is this guy still standing? How is this guy still in the gym lifting up 120-pound dumbbells? How is this guy still on the treadmill running for half an hour? How is this guy still standing strong? Like, after all the evil we sent in his direction, how is he standing? They always think of, whenever they see me, how am I still standing? It's just where life goes. No matter how much of a good person you might be in life, there's always going to be people that want to see you suffer. That's just the way it is. You could focus on the whole thing about it. Mr. President Trump just have to keep focusing and going forward. All of the haters and the people that's going to constantly try to bring up some past nonsense or constantly try to bring up things that happened in his past, that's just life. Every single day I'm broke. I'm broke. I have no power. My power comes from God. And there's people who every single day is wishing bad on me, is wishing bad upon my life, is hoping bad things happen to me every single day. Me, and I'm broke. I'm broke. So imagine a successful man as Mr. Donald J. Trump. Before Mr. President Trump became president, and you have to remember, Mr. President Trump, this is not about money for him. Being a president of the United States doesn't pay you $1 million every year. You don't make $1 million for being a president. You get the power. That's what you really get. But financially, you don't make a lot of money being a president. You don't get paid a lot of money by your country for being a president. So Mr. Trump is not doing this for money. He's doing this because of the love of the country. Simple and plain. You can't say he's doing it for the money. There ain't no money. There is no money being a president. Mr. Trump been making millions upon millions of dollars before the presidency. He's a very smart businessman. He been doing it for years. Now his kids are involved. They're accomplishing what their father been involved in for years. So he brought his kids up with his business mind, his business mentality, and now the entire family is going to continue on the way up. But you're always going to have people that's willing to destroy someone's legacy. That's just how it is. Every time people who don't like you see that you're moving in the right direction, see that you're moving towards accomplishing good things in your life, the ones that don't like you, the ones that want to see you suffer, they're going to always try to dig up some dirtbag stuff from your past and bring it to the light. They're always going to want to do something scummy. That's just how life works. So when people constantly trying to bring up that Epstein nonsense or this or that or whatever the situation might be, it's just a bunch of scummy people that's always going to be there at the end of the day. Being scummy, you will never achieve nothing at the end of the day regardless. Scummy people don't achieve what they actually set out to achieve because they're always miserable. Scummy people always are miserable, especially when the people that they despise are doing good. It drives them crazy. They can't sleep at night seeing you smile because they despise your happiness. They just want you to suffer every day. That's just how scummy people operate, dude.
I deserve it, but they will never give it to me. My rhetoric kept you out of wars. I stopped wars from happening. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes. I never even got a mention. And it's an amazing thing. I don't say this out of ego, but I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, they gave one to Obama immediately upon his ascent to the presidency, and he had no idea why he got it.
I think the president eventually, though, especially when he figured out how as soon as he actually figured out the Ukraine and Russia situation and bring that situation to a stop, I honestly think that he will be nominated for the Nobel Prize because that's something to him that he wants to accomplish to be a part of his legacy, and I think he deserves it because there is no president in United States history that has solved so many conflicts all around the world. There has not been any president in the history of the United States, and the United States is over 250 years old, and there have not been any other president that came along in the United States history that ever solved so many conflicts all around the world, that solved so many problems, that so many people was losing their lives, innocent people. Because a lot of times in this violence, the people that's fighting each other, they're getting killed as well. But the majority of the time, a lot of innocent people, a lot of little kids, a lot of elderly people who don't have nothing to do with the violence, end up losing their lives. So you have to think about it, dude. Like, do he deserve to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize? 100%. He had deserved to win it this year. But I think that's something in his future he's definitely going to accomplish. that's going to be a part of his legacy, because the people that's running the Nobel Peace Prize, they should know, like, judge Mr. Donald J. Trump on his actions. You know, a lot of people could talk and say stuff or whatever, but Mr. President Trump is actually doing it. He's not just talking about settling problems and having things, having the world go in a good direction. No, he's actually, every single day, him and his administration is getting up and solving problems. So you look at somebody, to receive the Nobel Prize, you have to be looking at those type of achievements. You have to be looking at the achievements that a president is actually making on a daily basis. That every single day he's figuring out ways to solve the world problems. You have to be able to look at stuff like that, because that's what actually, I honestly think Mr. President Trump, he deserves it right now, but they gave it to somebody else already. But I think in his near future, he's definitely gonna get the Nobel Peace Prize, because he deserves it. Simple and plain, dude. He deserves it. If anybody deserves it as a United States president, he deserves it.
We settled 7 wars. We're close to settling an 8th. And I think we'll end up settling the Russia situation. I don't think anybody in history settled that many.
100%. I don't think nobody in history has settled that much violence neither. I think he's a special man. He's working with God 100%. He's doing as much as he can with God. 100%, dude. And, I just hope the Russian-Ukraine violence actually stop. Because those are two, Russia is a beautiful country. Russia is a huge country, you know what I mean? And hopefully those two countries could come on common ground, and they could figure it out. Hopefully they could really figure it out and make it happen for the entire continent of Europe. Because it's not just those two countries is at war. It's the whole country of Europe is at, everybody is tremendously on high alert because of this violence. So it's not just, the two countries that they're battling it out. Yes, they are, but at the same time they're battling it out, but there's still tension all through Europe. With the other countries, once again, those other countries are not involved directly in a fight with Russia, but indirectly they're playing a role. Because a lot of those other European countries are supplying Ukraine with help. In help meaning that with weapons. They're helping them with weapons, helping them with different things, so Ukraine could at least have a chance to fight against Russia. You know what I mean? So indirectly, the continent of Europe is in turmoil right now. So with that violence stopping, with that violence being, with that violence putting that violence to bed, stopping that violence, it will bring back a more comfortable environment throughout Europe. And once again, I'm not just specifically talking about Russia and Ukraine. Every country in Europe right now is in turmoil. Every country in Europe right now is, every single day, they're like wondering. They're like, I hope this doesn't come to my backyard. I hope this doesn't, nothing spreads to because it's always going to be tension. When you have two countries on your continent fighting, you just never know when a bomb might be directed somewhere else and by mistake it end up in your country, because those countries are neighboring countries. So regardless of the two countries that's fighting, you just never know when it's just going to spill over into something bigger with other countries getting involved. So with that situation, God willing, Mr. Trump could put a stop to that situation. It'll be a good thing for the entire continent of Europe, man. They'll go back to living in peace. And once again, it has to be a long-term agreement. It can't be something that's going to be going back to fight in a month or going back to fight in a year. It has to be something that's long-lasting. It can't, like those. That's the reason why Mr. Trump is having a little complicated time trying to help those countries come up with because regardless of what Mr. Trump is doing to broker a deal between those two countries, at the end of the day, the presidents of those countries have to agree on the terms what Mr. Trump is putting on the table. They have to 100% agree with the terms, and they have to meet on common ground and realize, like, listen, all of these years of the fighting, how many people, hundreds of thousands of people have lost their lives? At what point this is going to stop? This could continue going on for years and years and years and years. And at what point this is going to stop? Because is Russia ever going to take Ukraine? If they do take Ukraine, it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be something that's going to happen next year. No, it's going to take a lot of more fighting. So is it worth more people losing their lives, or is it worth going back and living in peace? And they meet on a common ground where, you know what, let's do this deal based on mutual respect. Let's do this deal that, both of our countries could go back and leave. Both of our countries, the people of our countries could actually go back and sleep at night in peace. And we could try to work this out day by day. The terms Mr. Trump might be putting on the table, they might not agree right there and then with all of the terms. But I think these two countries should actually just stop the violence and day at a time work together towards peace. Because they have to coexist. They are neighbors. So the violence has to stop completely, and they have to really, really get to the bottom of the issues between those two countries. And Mr. Putin has to realize that Ukraine is not a threat to Russia. Ukraine never been a threat to Russia. I don't think, and that's just me. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion. I never think that Ukraine had any interest of being violent to Russia, because the president of Ukraine knew from years ago that they don't have a chance. If Ukraine would fight Russia just one-on-one fight, Ukraine don't have a chance. So why even President Putin thinking that Ukraine will ever be any type of violence towards his country? I don't know. But those are the things they have to speak on. Those are the things that Mr. Putin has to get, guarantees about. Guarantee Mr. Putin that, listen, we're never going to be a threat to your country. Those are things could be written out in writing. We are not a threat to your country. We never want to be a threat to your country. We are neighbors. We have to coexist as neighbors from now and forever. Even when Mr. President Putin leaves office and somebody else take over Russia, run Russia, even when Mr. Zelensky leave office in Ukraine and somebody else take over Ukraine, those countries are still neighbors. So you have to come to an agreement, and everybody has to know, like, listen, bro, we don't need the violence. We could be neighbors and coexist we could coexist without any type of violence. On our side, we don't have any intentions of coming and invading your country. We have no intentions of nothing bad towards your country. So let's, those are things that need to be spoken on when a deal actually they come to an agreement. So this doesn't happen again. I don't know why Mr. Putin feels that Ukraine is a threat. I don't know why he feels like even if Ukraine is getting along with NATO is not a threat to Russia. It's not a threat because everybody want to live in peace. Nobody wants violence. It always blows my mind when countries go out and spend billions of dollars creating weapons. Billions of dollars creating weapons. Let's create ways so we could coexist as one. Instead of spending $100 billion on a weapon to kill a bunch of people, for what? Let's take this $100 billion and figure out ways that we could coexist together, that we could coexist for centuries. We don't need to be buying weapons just in case. Why? Just in case what? All of those countries are very wealthy. You have your wealth, you have everything in your country, your people are living good. Why we need to go into any type of level of violence? That's what I never understand about countries spending so much money on defensive stuff, submarines, planes, nuclear weapons. So much billions of dollars go every single year in the budget of a country's defense. That's not just the United States. United States, yes. Every year also the United States give a budget to the Pentagon to get equipment, keep the equipment good, like stuff like that. But I'm like, we need to figure out ways and take all that money and actually figure out ways that we could coexist as God kids. Let's take that money and find ways that we don't need to have problems. We don't need to get into, we don't need to get into conflict. And if we do get into a little argument, or if we do get into a little disagreement, there will be things put in place. There will be people put in place that will actually, let's talk this out. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's what we have to do. We have to figure out, like, okay, let's coexist. Let's, if things do happen that we don't like, we disagree on something, let's put things in place that we could have a conversation about it, so it doesn't escalate to nothing bad. That's just my mentality about stuff like that. Like, so I don't really be knowing why countries spend so much money on the defense of their country, like spending billions of dollars on nuclear weapon for what, dude? Why you need a nuclear weapon to set off in someone else's country to kill millions of innocent people who has nothing to do with this conflict, who has nothing to do with this argument? Like, it takes, bro, to let off a nuclear weapon in someone's country, in another country, just because you're arguing with the governments are arguing with each other, when the regular people who has nothing to do with this argument is the people that's actually going to lose their lives because of a disagreements between presidents, because of a disagreements between prime ministers. Like, to me, we have to find ways to get along. Instead of boasting and building our defense to defend our countries, let's find a way we could coexist, though. We got to get rid of the violence. The violence is just killing people more and more and more. And you're like, oh yeah, kids are being born every single day. Yes, you could look at life like that as well. People are being born every single day, but how many innocent lives? How many mothers that have to end up in the cemetery crying because their kid had to go into the military to defend their country at a young age and never made it out? How many more parents has to go through that before we come up and realize that, bro, let's actually figure out ways to work together. Let's figure out ways that, yes, as human beings, we're not perfect, so we're going to have disagreements. But let's put things in place when we do have a disagreement, that there's things that put in place so that disagreement does not escalate into nothing worse than it already is. That's just my stand on violence when it comes to violence all around the world, man. But Mr. President Trump, bro, he's doing the best he can to resolve the problems. And he's going to go down in history. He's going to go down in the United States history books as one of the first president that resolved so many conflicts all around the world. And honestly, I hope no other United States president ever have to resolve so many conflicts, because I hope when Mr. President Trump do his term and he leaves office, he leaves the world in a better standings when coming to violence. I hope when he do leave office that he leave knowing that all of the things that he put in place throughout the world, that all of the violence that he stopped, he knows going forward, those countries are actually going to live in peace. So no other United States presidents or no other presidents all around the world has to really go through that stuff. So he deserves to be praised. He deserves to be honored as much as he can. People deserve to show him respect, dude, because he deserves it.
Stop at the lines where they are the battle lines. You have a battle line right now. The rest is very tough to negotiate. If you're going to say, you take this, we take that, there's so many different permutations. So what I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines. Go home, stop killing people, and be done.
What do you think should happen with the Donbass region then?
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line. But I said, cut and stop at the battle line. Go home. Stop fighting. Stop killing people.
And that's how U.S. President Donald Trump views it, but a report by...
And you can't ask for a better president. That's exactly how it's... Listen, Ukraine, at the end of the day, Ukraine is going to have to take a loss of land. If Ukraine and the people of Ukraine, the governments and the people of Ukraine want this to stop, and this needs to stop. They are going to have to realize that the country of Ukraine, which is huge, they are going to have to take some loss. It's unfortunate. It's 100% unfortunate when another country could just come in and take your land and occupy your land that you know that's your land. But in reality, dude, is it worth fighting for another? Is it worth fighting for another year to try to retrieve that land, and then more and more people are dying? And is it worth it? Like, as the president said, it's like, you know what? The way it's drawn out right now, let it be for right now. Just let it be. But on a daily basis, these two countries, I'm talking about in regard to Russia and Ukraine, they need to find a way to have conversations without the United States, without France, without Italy, without England, without Germany. I'm just talking about those two countries have to build some form of relationship after this deal is done. If they do come to an agreement with the help of Mr. President Trump and God, if they do come to an agreement, after that agreement is reached, I think those two countries, which is Mr. President Putin and Mr. President Zelensky, I think those two presidents have to come to they have to form some type of friendship, regardless if the friendship is not, listen, I don't want to hang out with you, regardless if it's not a friendship to hang out, regardless if, oh, I don't want you to come to Russia, I'm not going to go to Ukraine, fine. You don't have to come to Ukraine, I don't have to go to Russia. As presidents, we don't have to visit each other's country. But I think it's a very, very big deal, and it's very important that those two presidents have some form of relationship together. Because without it, it's always going to create tension with those two countries. So yes, the way it is right now, Russia is occupying 70-75% of the Donbass region, which Ukraine won that piece of land, because that's all the water land. Right now, where President Putin is trying to occupy is all like the water area where a lot of import and export stuff happens within Ukraine. You know, that part of the land, they could control like the boats that comes in, the boats that goes out. They could control. That's the reason why this is such a big deal to Ukraine. Russia gets control of that part of this piece of land. I say, listen, as the president said, the way it's drawn out, work with it for now. Just stop the violence, stop the killing, stop all of the violence. Work with it the way it is for now. And then little by little, wise you countries, but wise you presidents or the ambassadors of each country form some form of relationship. From each ambassador, the president doesn't even have to be friends. I think it would be better. I think it would be better if President Putin and President Zelensky actually form some form of friendship that based on mutual respect. Once again, you don't have to like me for us to have a relationship that based on mutual respect. You don't have to like somebody to have a relationship that's based on respect. We are different, but I'm going to respect your difference and you're going to respect my difference. We don't ever have to hang out. We don't ever have to drink coffee. We don't ever have to drink tea. We don't have to do none of this stuff. But I'm going to respect you for who you are. You respect me for who I am. And I think relationships like that eventually will build trust, that eventually all of that, the land that was taken away from Ukraine, little by little, there's a possibility they could start working together to access everything together. Instead of like Russia owns it or Ukraine owns it, access the land together. You both need boats. Both countries need boats in and out of that part of Ukraine. Russia wants it because Russia could control the imports and export going out from that Donbass region. Ukraine also the same thing. So why can't you guys just coexist and use it together? Why does it has to be, okay, I need it to be under my country rules? No, just use it together. You guys are all European countries. You're all neighbors. God says, love your neighbors, treat your neighbors like family. Why are people killing each other over stuff that we could just work together? We could use the land that God gave us. At the end of the day, it's God's land. At the end of the day, we're all going to die and the land is still going to be there. That's my whole thing. Why are we killing each other over things that God put for all of us to use? Why does human beings have to go create lines? Or this part of it is mine and this part of it is yours. Why can't we coexist together and use it together? God gave it to us to use together. That's my whole stand. Like, let's use it together. So it's not about, oh, after this violence is over, it's going to belong to Russia. Find a way to coexist together and use the Donbass region. Use it together. I don't think Russia wants to put no buildings in Donbass. I don't think Russia already have millions of dollars invested into Crimea. They built that whole bridge from Russia to Crimea. Work together, dude. There is still there's Russian people that lives in Crimea right now. There's Ukraine people that lives in Crimea as well. Just use it together. Why it has to be such a big deal of, oh, it's my land. It's God's land. God gave it to us to use together. We have to figure out, bro, we all got kids, though. God gave us the land. God gave us the earth. God gave us the water. Like, let's use it together. In the Bible, God specifically say, love your neighbors. Treat your neighbors like family. Because we're all family, bro. Ukraine and Russia is neighbors. That two countries, they're neighbor. Use the land together. Why hundreds of thousands of people need to continue to die over a land that God gave us? Just think about it. I really truly believe that with the help of Mr. President Donald J. Trump, or great United States president, by the way, with the help of Mr. Trump and God, I honestly think those two countries are going to come up eventually and they're going to figure it out together and stop the violence. I really do think that's going to happen very soon. You know, once again, with the help of Mr. Donald J. Trump and God, I think it's a possibility this could happen very soon. And once again, those two countries have to have some form of relationship that based on respect. You don't got to like me. I don't got to like you. So many of my people don't die because of this nonsense. So many of your people don't die because of this nonsense. At what point we're going to stop? At what point this is going to stop? As Mr. President Trump said, the way the line is right now, Russia is already occupied over 70% of that part of Donbass. Listen, let it be. Let it be, dude. Let it be for now. The Crimea, if Russia occupied Crimea, let it be. Russia already made up millions of dollars investment in Crimea. Regardless, at the end of the day, Mr. Zelensky, they're always going to be Ukrainians that's going to go live in Crimea. Regardless who is in control of Crimea. Regardless who government is in control of Crimea. Crimea is always going to be Ukrainians and Russians. Mr. Zelensky, they're always going to be Ukrainians going over the border and living in Russia. I'm pretty sure right now, there's Ukrainians that are living, I'm talking about Ukrainian citizens that are living in Russia right now with this violence is going on. My whole point to say this stuff is that you guys are neighbors. I am pretty sure right now there's Russians that are living in Ukraine. You're neighboring countries. So right now, as I'm making this video, I'm 100% sure that you could go into Russia and you will find people that was born and raised in Ukraine, living in Russia, who has family in Russia, Russian kids, married to Russians. Like, you're neighbors. The same thing, vice versa. I'm pretty sure you could go to Ukraine right now and find people that's Russian citizens who was born and raised in Russia that went to Ukraine, married, had families. You guys are neighbors. Think about those things before another gun goes off, before another bomb goes off. Think about those things. This is never going to change. Russian people are never going to stop going to Ukraine after this is over. Ukrainian people are not going to stop going to Russia after this is over. You guys have to figure out how to coexist, because the people from each of you guys' countries are going to continue to go in each other you guys' countries. Russians are going to go back to Ukraine. Ukrainians are going to go into Russia. That's just it's not going to stop. So learn to coexist with the land that God gave us. As Mr. President Trump said, right now Russia occupies 70-something% of that Donbass region. Listen, Mr. Zelensky, think about the bigger picture. Let it be for now. Figure out how you guys could form a relationship that's based on respect. That's the biggest problem that those two countries are having. They have no type of relationship. And everything is just anger, anger, anger. I'm angry at you and you angry at me. Like, it's all angry. Just anger, 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 anger. Anger does not fix nothing. Anger just keeps the violence going. That's all anger does. It keeps the violence going. A revengeful heart, a revengeful mind. That's all you think about. The violence continue with a revengeful mind. You got to think about life, dude. It's not worth it. It's not worth another kid losing their lives. It's not worth another bomb going off in a school. It's not worth another bomb going off in a church. It's for what? We all got kids. Let's coexist together. Let's work together to make this world a better place, man. That's my opinions, and once again, this entire video is to really show my gratitude and my utmost respect to a great United States president, and to just let our president know that all the accolades and all the rewards, he deserved it. The achievement, the award that he got today, the Nixon Award, he deserved it. He actually deserved the peace, the Nobel Peace. He deserved it, but they gave it to someone else. But I think in the future he's going to get it because he deserved it. Salute all day to a great Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump. God bless you and your family, sir. And thank you very much for putting a stop to the killing of the kids of God. Thank you, Mr. Donald J. Trump, for actually helping out and giving the kids of God the freedom to live another day. Because that's what you did when you solved all of those violence around the world. You gave God kids another day to have a better future. And thank you. Salute to you for that from today and forever. I will always salute you for all of the peace that you have brought around the world. I think you deserve to be praised as much as possible. You deserve it. To you and your family, sir, safe travels throughout the United States. To you and your family, sir, safe travels whenever you decide to go out the United States. May God watch over you and your family. That's to Mr. Donald J. Trump, our Commander-in-Chief for United States President. May God watch over you on this beautiful, wonderful evening. Also, your family on this beautiful, wonderful evening and forever. Until the next video, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe. Always do what's right in the eyes of God and His family, guys. Always treat people with the love, the kindness, the care, the loyalty, and most importantly, the respect that you expect others to treat you with. Treat people the way you want to be treated. The biggest problem that we're facing in this world is a lack of respect that we actually give to each other. If we choose to be more respectful to each other, this world will be a way safer and better place for us all. And the problem and the reason why it's so hard for people to give each other respect is because of our difference in life, our difference in opinions, our difference in ways of living, our difference in ways of making a financial profit. We have different ways going through life. So we have to learn to be more respectful to each other differences and give each other respect, more respect, and we'll have a good life. We'll have a good future all around the world. We just have to be more respectful to each other and be more respectful to each other's differences. Let's work together to make this world better. Let's honestly realize all the land that we are living on currently right now, this entire earth, this entire planet, we was all born into this world. I don't care how old you might be right now. You have to remember, when you was born, this land was already here. God gave us this land. This land was given to us by God. So let's work together to continue this land for all of the future generations of little kids that's being born daily. Let's continue to live in peace so the new generations could enjoy the world. I'm just one person. I'm just trying to bring peace, just as our great president, Mr. Donald J. Trump. And that's all I'm going to speak on as much as I can. Let's solve our problems with a discussion rather than a bomb. Let's solve our problems with a conversation rather than a bullet. Let's talk it out. Let's figure it out. That's why we have ambassadors. The presidents don't ever have to talk. So we have ambassadors. We have, we have so many different ways to communicate with each other in every country. Let's figure it out. Let's put all of the employees, all of the people that's working for the government, let's put them to work instead of going out to get the bullets, going out to get a bomb. Let's figure it out with words. We all got kids. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And to that one person that stood to my stream tonight, to that one view, I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Share the video. Appreciate you. To that one viewer that stood and watched my stream for almost an hour, thank you very much. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe. All right, let's do it together. We'll make this world a better place if we do it together.